Okay, everyone, thank you again so very much for carving the time out of your schedule. I know things get super busy, especially in the summertime, so I appreciate you joining us. And you are definitely in for a very cool treat. Let me just give you a little bit of background, and then we're going to press forward. And we're going to kind of cover this in a two kind of fold fashion, and I'll talk about that in just a couple of minutes. But how and why did this come about? So for those of you, I don't think any of you have been around for that long, but actually maybe Julia, but we were doing Facebook parties flawlessly like a champion, and it was so beautiful, and things just ran effortlessly and smoothly. And then things in 2023 got a little bit, or 2024, I think, got a little bit, or 2023, I don't know, but it got a little bumpy. And we were starting to experience where our customers weren't seeing the post, and people weren't getting messages, and things were just starting to go awry very, very quickly. And then in April of that year, Facebook dropped the gauntlet, and Pampered Chef had meetings with some Facebook execs, and basically the word was it is they are no longer going to prioritize home party type of post, and they're going to deprioritize them is basically how it's going to work. So ultimately what was happening was that people weren't seeing our content. So we were putting things in parties and people weren't seeing them. So I will say that Facebook is volatile. Like there's no rhyme, there's no reason in the sense of why Facebook would work seamlessly for some and very, very damaging for others. So there is an in between, but I don't know that we have an answer for why things are what they are. So that's where I started to look at this as a little bit of a shift. And I thought, I want to take my effort and put it into something that potentially has a little bit more traction in the sense of sales, in the sense of bookings, in the sense of recruiting, and so on. And that's why I started to dig pretty deeply into Facebook, or excuse me, into texting parties. I didn't fully abandon Facebook parties because I was concerned about abandoning something that kind of worked, but didn't work to the magnitude that it used to before. So I attended a few classes, talked to a couple of national executives, talked to some of their team members, and really just started to pray about it and think about it and wonder, what, could this be a possibility and this be another avenue for success? And the answer is emphatically yes. And I'm not telling you to abandon Facebook. I'm not telling you to abandon home parties. I'm telling you that this is another very, very viable option. If you've done parties on Facebook and you are having success, I'm a firm believer in what our founder, Doris Christopher, says: if it's not broken, do not fix it. So if things are running seamlessly, don't even worry about texting parties unless somebody says, hey, I want to be off Facebook. And I don't know about you guys, but I have heard that. As a matter of fact, I've heard it 3 times today. So I know that there's a common thread with what our climate is right now, and who does and doesn't want to be on Facebook. As a matter of fact, somebody booked a party with me today, and she said, the only way I'm going to do this is if it's a texting party. And I said, 100%. Like, yes, that's exactly what it's going to be. So there's no convincing, which I'm super happy about, to get people to do this. It's just encouraging them to follow the processes. So in saying that, I'm going to break this down into 2 segments. We have a lot of new consultants on this call, and a lot of new consultants who are going to be listening to this call. So some of the information is going to maybe not overly pertain to you, but may provide some refresher. And then the other part of it is going to be brand new. Now, I will say you have got to give yourself some grace, because just like any new system, it's going to feel bumpy, especially if you have done Facebook parties and that's your mindset. It's different. I mean, it's not even the same at all. So you're trading some things off and kind of dumping other things on. So the workload is about the same. It's just much of it is automated, and there's just different components of it. So the way we originally started this was with 2 systems in place. And for those of you that are considering running 4 or more parties a week, you may want to consider the second system. But for those of you that are just starting or running less than 4 parties a week, you could probably do this without a problem with the one system. And the one system is Project Broadcast. So if you have not yet worked on getting Project Broadcast, that is definitely step number one. For those of you that are brand new, you're going to use my code, and my code is going to give me a $10 credit. And so I'm going to Venmo you back $10 because I want you to have that, because ultimately to sign up for Project Broadcast, it is $20. Now, for those of you that are brand spanking new and you haven't done a party at all, that $20 is on me. I'll be running your launch party, and I'll be running your first 4 parties for you. Once you have completed your first 4 parties or hit 1250 in sales, then we'll work in tandem together to ensure your continual success with texting parties, Facebook parties, and so on. A couple of you just ran some texting parties with me last week that I ran for you, and everybody got sales and everybody got at least 2 bookings. A couple of you got, one of you got 6 and a couple of you got 4. So again, it is a very, very viable system that is out there. So if you're going to run a lot of parties, my suggestion is the 2 systems, which are Connection Point and Project Broadcast. But if you're going to run less than 4 parties a week, you could do this with just Project Broadcast. So those are just 2 things to consider as we begin to navigate into this next section. If you have any background noise, if you just want to press mute so that way you can hear us, but we won't hear the background noise. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share my screen, and I have a couple here, so you're going to see me kind of turn my head. And I apologize, we have a big, huge storm coming through here, and I see my screen flickering, so I'm hoping this stays live and everything's going to be okay. So I want to just preface before I show you this document that we are not abandoning the 7 steps. So for those of you that, because somebody said, are we not doing the 7 steps any longer? We are doing the 7 steps, but you have to look at this with kind of 2 heads. The 7 steps is primarily focused on Facebook parties. So if you just think about extracting the word Facebook party and inserting the word texting party, that's going to be the major variable in that process. So it's not a huge difference. The systems are completely different, but the verbiage and the wording is not going to be much different. So when we look at the 7 steps, and let's say you reach out to somebody, ask them to have a party, and they say, no, I'm too busy, it may preface the words may preface and say, oh, well, let's have a Facebook party, yada, yada, yada. So you would just, oh my gosh, there's a double rainbow right in front of me, so I just kind of caught my eye. But you would preface that and just switched out the word Facebook party into texting party. So we don't want to overcomplicate things, because this is actually a very nice, easy system. And once you get a hang of it, guys, it's almost odd because everything is running for you. So if you've ever felt like, oh, I don't want to ask the host 3 times about becoming a consultant, good. It's done for you all through the system. If you don't want to follow up with the host because you're concerned about what she's going to say, or you're concerned about how you feel about it, good, because it's all going to be done for you through Project Broadcast. And that's one of the reasons I love it. Now, you can't just like set it and forget it, because you will have set it and forget it results. So you got to still stay on top of stuff. But if you're ever kind of nervous about extending the business to somebody, or asking for the booking, or doing the 3 follow-ups, Project Broadcast does it all for you. So that's the beauty, in my opinion, of using this system. So let me share my screen here, and we will get rolling. Now, one thing I will tell you, you are going to have a ton of questions. So one that's kind of been cool is through this process, because I do work full time, I have an assistant that works for me for 2 hours each day. And she runs my business while I'm at work. So I've had to train her from start to finish. And she was frazzled for the first week. And now it's a well-oiled machine. So just give yourself grace through this. And just like anything else that's new, like if I told you, go to Walmart and I want you to ring up all the groceries and all the produce you got to memorize by tomorrow, you'd be like, forget that. I'm never going to know it. It's the same thing. So this is your cheat sheet to remember how to ring up the bananas and ring up the grapes and so on and so forth. I'm also part of your cheat sheet process. So you're going to have questions. Read the documents first and then ask as many questions as you want. But I will tell you, you got to read it, because almost all of your answers are going to be in this document. Okay. So can you see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
So my head's going to be, actually, let me see if I can move my camera here. So it makes a little more sense. Oh, no, you don't need to see that part of me. Let me put this up. Okay. All right. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with Google Docs, but Google Docs definitely has some neat little enhancements that it has added to their systems. And so if you look at this document like a notebook, this is the tabs in the notebook. So if there's ever a time you want to go to a particular section, you would just click on the tab and it will take you right to that section. So we're going to start right here at the front. And this is kind of, again, this is more of a kind of a reiteration of what a new consultant is going to be doing. But if you don't have the party schedule that you want in place, my suggestion is to morph yourself into a new consultant. We all have to do it. I have to do it from time to time. Everyone has to do it. So when we're saying morph yourself into a new consultant, act as if you are a new consultant. Act as if you are building a new business. When you ask somebody to do a Facebook party versus asking somebody to do a texting party, there's an immediate sense of immediate sense of somebody being intrigued because it's something they haven't heard before. And then it creates a sense of FOMO, like, oh, what's that all about? And so you may have noticed that I've been doing a lot of posting about the texting party because the results and the positive reviews that I'm getting are, I'm literally every day surprised at how many people have said, this is great. I love it. Don't go back to Facebook, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what the future holds, but all I know is that if I want my business to continue to grow, you have to pivot when necessary. They say the definition of crazy is doing the same thing every single time and thinking that your results are going to be different. I don't think you should abandon ship constantly, but if things are consistently not working, you as a leader have to be able to pivot for your team. And so ultimately, this was definitely one of those situations where I'm on an airplane and I'm going to put the oxygen mask on first and save myself, and then I'm going to save my team. So again, I'm being a little dramatic when I'm saying save because you can still, there are consultants and directors on my team that are still moderately successful on Facebook. So it's not saying that that can't change, and I'm hoping it does because it was such a great platform. And you can also, like, let me just back up and say, if I have a host that doesn't do super well on texting, like the worst party I've done on texting is $235. The best is $1,900 and some odd dollars. The average is about 900. So the sales are absolutely off the charts in comparison of what Facebook is now. Facebook used to be like that. But if I have a host that doesn't do what I encourage her to do, then I will offer her a Facebook backup option. But just to give you an example, like I did 3 Facebook parties that were for hosts that didn't do very well on texting because they didn't kind of follow what I encouraged them to do. And 3 of them walked away with $150 in sales, like total, the 3 of them. So it wasn't a viable option, but they wanted to do it. So I did that for them. So again, I'm not abandoning it. I'm hoping one day Facebook comes back full steam ahead. But I just don't know. So this is a viable option, and your guest, you're going to get the most exciting reviews, which makes me super excited because I know I'm now servicing my customers where they are. So for those of you that are new, or for those of you that are morphing into that new consultant role, this is what I'm going to encourage you to do. And this kind of walks through in the sense of the 7 steps. So very first thing you're going to see here is the 7 steps with table. There is a lot of good information in there. It's going to walk you through how to set up your how to set up your consultant's corner. So you have somebody, let's say Tracy has somebody who says, oh, I want to book a party. So Tracy's going to go into consultant's corner. She's going to set up the party in consultant's corner and in table. And then she's going to let me know. And then I'm going to run her parties for her. But if you're not a brand new consultant, then you're going to run run that party through Project Broadcast, which I have the template for you. So if you remember the templates that we used to have before, you'd have to do a whole bunch of editing. You don't have to do that at all because like there is no algorithm issue, nothing. It's just straight up pushed out and it's good to go. So the first thing that you want to do as a new consultant or one that's kind of restarting is you want to make sure that you watch Welcome to Our Team. And that's going to be here in the 7 steps. Then you want to make sure that you have joined all of the Facebook groups. Your recruiters should have added you to Stacy's Facebook group and then the 2 Facebook groups for the Read Rockstars. You want to make sure that you write down or put on your calendar the events. Every Monday night, minus during the summer. There are Monday night calls from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Yes, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern. If you're unable to make that, there's a recording. I do highly encourage that you attend at least a few live. They're much more effective live than recordings, but if you're like me, I have to get up at 3:30, so those calls are no longer an option. So I listen to them on the way to work the very, very next day. This time of the year, we're doing a summer series and it's on Wednesday nights. So make sure that you are part of that summer series group, and it's once a week, every week. And what's cool about that is it's a whole bunch of directors or national executive directors have gotten together and sharing all of their successes for summertime results. Then you're going to go through the getting started section. You're going to make sure that you're setting up a call with your director or recruiter. And then they're going to go over that very first segment of getting your business started. And then for those of you that are texting consultants, you're going to put a social post, and Facebook consultants as well. You're going to put a social post on your Facebook wall. And when you click the link, you're going to take that image and put it on your wall. And what this is going to do is it's going to attract people to want to comment. So the post just simply says, if you're a Pampered Chef fan, drop a number between 1 and 20 or 1 and 50 or whatever it says. And then they're just going to drop that number. And then right underneath that on the training, it's going to say, okay, when somebody comments, go to Facebook Messenger and say this. If they say this, copy and paste this. If they say that, say this. So if you follow what the system is in place saying, that's exactly how you're going to be getting your parties. Now, texting consultants, a little bit different. You can text to get those parties. And then, of course, you can also use Facebook Messenger. Now, Tracy, I know and a couple other of you are brand new on here today. So you'll have to hang tight if you haven't had your first new consultant training call. Some of this is above that new consultant training call. So we're going to have to go back and then come forward. And that way you'll be caught up. But this will help you certainly by all means. Then there are some words here, and these are literally the words in the 7 steps. They were just changed a tad bit, so it's talking more about texting parties. So once you put the post on your Facebook wall, then you'll put this message in Facebook Messenger, and that will get the conversation started. Now, one of the things I do as well for my new consultants and those who may want to get a restart is your first 30 to 50 reach outs, we tag up. So I just had a consultant on my team who's like, oh my gosh, Lorraine, I really want to get going again, but I feel like I need you right by my side. So I said, okay, your first 30 messages, put me in a group chat with them, and we will work through each of those messages. So if you want to do that with me, just let me know, and I'll be glad to do that. It's sometimes just helpful to kind of allow people to see that number one, that you have support, and number two, you might look at a message and say, oh, they're not interested, so let me just back out. When in fact, they very well may be. For an example, one of my parties I just had this week, there was like 5 potential consultants, and they didn't even know that they were potential consultants, but they were, because they were doing things and saying things that made me think, okay, this is an opportunity to share. So one lady messages me and she says, I'm so sorry, I can't order. I just lost my job. So of course I always think about like, okay, put myself in her shoes. How would I want to make a response to that? And if I can't think about one that's good enough, I know who can, and that is ChatGPT. So if you ever get lost and not sure what to say, that system will tell you exactly what to say. So I knew what to say to her. And so I just messaged her back and just kind of, acknowledging her situation and, was emphatically, letting her know that I'm thinking about her and so on and so forth. And then I just shared with her, I said, this might be a total shot in the dark type of question, but, Pampered Chef is a great opportunity, something that potentially could supplement your income while you're waiting for the job that you're looking for. And she immediately messages me back and she's like, oh, I'm not looking for another job. I am done working for corporate America, and tell me more. So just when I would have thought, you know what, she's really down in the dumps, she's not going to want to hear about this. Who was Lorraine thinking about for that blip of a moment? Me. I was thinking about how I might feel. When in essence, you have to remove yourself from the situation completely, because we don't know what they're going through. We don't know what they need. I had no idea she was going to say something like that. It turns out she was a past consultant like 20 years ago. So who knows? She may end up signing, she may not, but the conversation is going, and it wouldn't have had I not just stuck my neck out and said, what the heck? I have nothing to lose. And that's the beautiful thing, in my opinion, about being an online texting Facebook consultant. you don't ever have face-to-face conversations. For those of you that may have been consultants in the past, like we would have to literally like sit at a chair at a table and say, hey, would you be interested in having a party face to face? Like we had to deal with that insult to injury right then and there. We had to ask them if they would like to join our team face to face. Like people don't even like talking on the phone these days, and we had to do all those things face to face. So whenever I think about, is this easy? This has got to be the easiest thing ever because there's no negative impact because you don't have to take that brunt face to face. It's just right over the computer. So really think about that because we just don't know who's on the other side who needs time with their friends, with a Facebook or with any kind of party, or simply need some extra income as a potential consultant. So once you have sent out these messages, and for those of you that are brand spanking new, your job for the next 30 days are messages, 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 and more messages. Because ultimately, what we want to help you do is book at a very minimum of 4 parties a week. And consistency is everything. Consistency is all about getting that kind of inertia behind you. So essentially, you're not constantly pushing your business. Your business is pushing you because you have that flow behind you because you're consistently doing it. And just like anything else, think about it. For those of you that haven't rode a bike in years, when you first get up on that bike, it's going to feel very odd. But after you're on that bike for a few moments and you come back the next day, it's like, this is cakewalk, right? Because you've done it. You've done it enough to know it's just a repetitive thing. And I will tell you, one thing about reach outs is that the more you do them, the more comfortable that you get with them. And the more you realize it's just part of what we do. Like back in the day, we had to get on the phone and call people. I can remember we had to do 50 calls a night. It was arduous by all means, but that is how we got our businesses rolling, was through the phone. Now we just get to send a quick text and you're done. Like you can get 30 reach outs done in a minimum amount of time of about 15 minutes, max about 30. And as you get used to it, you just, shorten that time more and more. One of the things I do recommend is finding a concrete time in your schedule. Just like think about it when you exercise. If you were to say one day, I'm going to exercise the morning today and maybe in the afternoon tomorrow, there's no consistency. So there's nothing that triggers you to say, okay, it's time to exercise. Okay, it's time to drink my water. Okay, it's time to do this. But if you said every morning at 5 a.m., I'm going to the gym, as daunting as that might sound at first, it starts to get into your blood and like it becomes your habit. So instead, think of this business in the same fashion. Okay, when over the next 7 days, can I consistently make 30 reach outs a day? If that's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 9 o'clock in the evening, find that time and commit to yourself to do it. If you don't, and you lose that commitment for yourself, then it gets off track again and you got to start all over. It's just like anything else. There's this program out there called 75 Hard. Let me tell you what, it's hard. It's really hard. You have to exercise every single day, 2 times, 45 minutes a day. You have to read a 10-page book, or excuse me, you have to read 10 pages in a book. You have to follow a diet. You can't drink, you can't smoke, you can't do anything for 75 days. I've never made it through it one time. And it's not because I drink or smoke. It's just because I can't seem to stick with it because it's a hard thing to do. But every one of us can find 15 minutes in our day. You can literally come out of the grocery store, stop, do your reach outs, go home. That's the thing. You have to find the time in your day. So I sit on this subject because it's the only thing that's separating your success, or excuse me, separating you from your success. That's it. And it's really an invisible line because once you step over that line, it's good to go. Like I mentioned, I'm waking up at 3:30 in the morning. I don't get home till 4:30, 5 o'clock at night. And it is really, really hard. It is hard. But I purposely wake up at 3:30 so I can sit in my parking lot at work for 1 hour so I don't have to sit in traffic. I'd rather sit in my parking lot. I take out my Mac. I work for 1 solid hour, go into the office. From noon to 1, I come back out to my car when it's not scalding hot. Otherwise, I go to the lunchroom, work for an hour. Then when I come home, and then I cook dinner and work again. That's the schedule that I chose because I'm trying to retire very quickly. So you choose what works best for you. But the key is to find the time that works best for you and go for it. All right, so let's pause there because now we're going to transition into the texting experience. But let's pause there for a quick moment. I just want to see if anybody has any questions about reach outs, so on and so forth, any of that type of questions.
Yeah, I do have a question, Lorraine. I running out of people to contact, like with the texting party, I only have so many contacts. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to get more.
Mhm.
And with Facebook, the same thing.
Okay.
I just don't know where to get more people from.
Okay. So that's a really good question, and I will tell you, there's a solution for that. And she's not on the phone at the moment, but I wish she was because she would tell you the story. So one of the my directors, I had tried to get her to become a consultant for years, and her biggest issue was she didn't have enough friends on Facebook. And I knew the resolve for that, but she had to just wait until she was ready to make that decision. So she joined Pampered Chef with 75 friends on Facebook. Maybe it was 175, something like that. But it was way, 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 way smaller than most people. So the very first thing I encouraged her to do was when you think about Facebook, one of the things that it says on Facebook almost every day is you might know these people. So if you might know these people, friend them. I would say friend 10 people every single day for 30 days. Then you have approximately 200 to 300 more friends right there. Not to say you're going to jump all over them at that moment and ask them to have a party, but you could do another texting party with those group of people, and that begins that experience for them. And they like the experience. So most likely you're going to get a couple of bookings from that. So that's one thing, is friend more people every single day. Make it a habit. Remind yourself every single day at 7 p.m. or 8 a.m. or whatever the case is, I need to friend 10 people, and do it. Friend, 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 and watch your numbers increase dramatically. So that's the one thing there you can do. Also, be a good Facebook friend. And when I say that, what that means is when you see people posting about a graduation, a new baby, their cute dog, comment on their stuff. Like, I'm constantly commenting. I would say at least 10 comments on average per day. Me or my assistant is commenting, because that makes me a good Facebook friend. So when I'm going in and asking a friend that I haven't spoken to in a year to book a party, which she just did, she probably wouldn't have done that had I not had any communication or any interaction with her at all. So being a good Facebook friend, super, super helpful. The other thing is that you want to really kind of check yourself out. And what I mean by that is you got to be honest with yourself. You're the only one that has your own list. And I'm kind of being frank here just because I want you to realize that this is where a lot of consultants will stumble, even myself at times. So let's say that you took your entire Facebook friends list. And by the way, if you go onto the Monday Night Call resource document, it shows you how to download your entire Facebook friend list. And right there, you have a spreadsheet full of friends, whether it's 500, 1,000, whatever it is. And you can literally go through that list day by day by day, and you can do your reach outs with those people. Now, just like you, I have followers that are from God knows where, that are fake accounts. So there's definitely people on there that are not my friends, but the majority are acquaintances. But download that list on the Monday Night Call resource document, and that'll help out as well. But where I was going with this first is really kind of with yourself, and think to yourself, okay, maybe, and I'm just generalizing here, let's back up. Did I put all my friends on the list, all my Facebook friends, all my friends in my cell phone contacts, and did I actually reach out to every single solitary person? And I can say that most people will say no, that they haven't. That's one step. Step number two, and this is where a lot of people say no, including myself, is did I make the subsequent reach outs? Did I do did I do follow up 1, follow up 2, follow up 3? So if you had 500 people, just say as a low number, and you messaged every single one of them and did 3 follow-ups with every single one of them, then at that time you have exhausted all of your Facebook friends. And then you have to continue to friend more people. The other thing that you can do is be consistent with referrals. So you could actually, on Project Broadcast, and when somebody says no, it can trigger a message out to them to say, this might not be something that you're interested in, but sometimes we know people that are interested in this. So maybe it's an opportunity to get that referral. So asking for that referral on a consistent basis is really helpful as well. The other thing is your customer base. So I know you haven't done a whole lot of shows, but if you think about the parties that you did when you were a consultant before and the parties that you did now, have you contacted all of those people that are your customers, because you can go into Consultants Corner and you can find this on the 7 steps, and you can actually create a spreadsheet of all of your customers. So that gives you a chance to print out all of their information and send them a message as well. And in Project Broadcast, which is the cool thing about the Project Broadcast automation feature, is you can download a list from Consultants Corner, which is Pampered Chef's website. You can upload that list to Project Broadcast. It can send out 1 message for you and 3 subsequent follow-ups. So if you don't like doing follow-ups, get on Project Broadcast. That is your answer. To me, it's like one of the better systems that are out there, because again, it does your follow-ups for you, and it takes you out of that picture of feeling, if you don't like that feeling, you kind of feel icky. That kind of gives you some results there. So kind of thinking about those things, Tara, would you say that, or what would you say as a result of me sharing that?
Well, I did have a problem doing the follow-ups just because I hate to feel like I'm bothering people.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But the Project Broadcast sounds like it is a big help.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So the only thing with Project Broadcast that you will kind of will limit you is with your Facebook contacts, you're still going to have to do your follow-ups. With your contacts that you have phone numbers for, you can put them all into Project Broadcast, and that will take care of that for you. And Tara, what you're feeling is what most people feel. So it's not an unfamiliar feeling. It is absolutely a very, very common feeling. But just know that the success in sales always lies in the follow-up. Most people, most car salesmen never expect to sell a car on the very first connection. Most real estate agents don't expect to sell a house the moment you walk through the front door. If they didn't follow up and build a customer relation, they would not get those continual leads. So it's tough. I'm not going to lie, but I will tell you it's easier the more you do it. And the more you start to see success on that back end because of those follow-ups, then you start to say, well, it's not the fun part of the job, but it's where I have a job, because ultimately we can't move forward without parties. So just try to feel better and confident in knowing that you really are providing a service. We don't know if they're actually seeing the message. You also have to look at it like this. I don't know about you, but when I get a message in Facebook, I don't always answer it right away for one reason or the other. I might be at a red light. I might be in the grocery store. And then I get 50 other messages flooding my Facebook Messenger. And even though you might have messaged me, your message just made it right to the bottom of those 50. And you might be thinking I'm ignoring you, but I just completely forgot about it. And they forget about you too. So try not to look at it like you're bothering them, because here's the thing, Tara. If I asked you if you would like to eat Brussels sprouts with me tomorrow and you did not like Brussels sprouts at all, what would you say to me?
Well, I'll meet with you, but I'm not going to eat Brussels sprouts.
Right, you would say no, right? Because you know, like you're not going to do it. So the people that don't want to do it, they're going to come back and tell you no, like almost right away. It's the people that don't respond. They're the frustrating people. And I'm not going to lie. It is very frustrating because it's like, come on. But we don't know. We don't know why they looked at the message and didn't respond. And that's why the follow-ups are so important. Most of my bookings come on follow-ups 2, but the majority come on follow-up 3. So I always think about, if I didn't make follow-up 2 or 3, I'd be stuck in the mud. You know, my business would not be moving forward. It would not be growing. So yes, Project Broadcast is your best friend when it comes to people that you have phone numbers for, but you still have to make the follow-ups for Facebook until you have their phone numbers. Okay, so we got to switch gears because we're going till 9 o'clock. So the neat thing about this, and this is where we're going to go next, is the process of the texting party. So I'm going to give you a broad overview, and most of you sitting on the call today have been in my texting party, so you kind of see it from the customer perspective. So let me just give you, I'm going to kind of walk you back, and then we're going to move forward. Okay, so let me do that by actually showing you instead of just talking about it. Let's see here. Okay, so let me actually just show you one other quick thing. So Project Broadcast is one of those things that you have to do in a step-by-step fashion. So me training you on Project Broadcast that's not going to help. But what's going to help? These directions are precise. They're to the T. Literally, me and my assistant went through this. She's setting it up. I'm writing down the steps. She's setting it up. I'm writing down the steps. However, we're not perfect. So if you feel like you get stuck somewhere, don't hesitate to say, okay, Lorraine, I'm on number 1 or number 10 and I can't figure out what you're talking about. Just ask me. Now, during the day, I have very limited options. It's not that I'm ignoring you. I just can't always get to you during the day. But after 3 o'clock, I'm back on and being able to see things more regularly. So you're going to want to make sure that you are looking at this section here. Now, if you're brand new, while I'm running your launch party and your first 4 parties, you're going to be doing these trainings. You're going to be doing your reach outs daily. And I'm going to be filtering you in and telling you what's going on in the party part of it. And I'll be working you in other ways as well. So you're not going to be left out in the dust, but I'm going to be doing the heavy lifting for you. And then you're going to be learning the systems. And then when it's your turn, we'll flip the switch there. These are all of the organic messages that happen throughout the party. So I try to take all the guesswork out of it for you so you didn't have to come up with answers, because every day of the party actually starts on a Thursday night. So they'll get their welcome message on a Thursday night. Hey, it's Lorraine with Pampered Chef. Here's what's going to happen. And then there's always a call to action each day. So Thursday night, they get a welcome message, welcoming them to the texting party, letting them know there's no group chats, letting them know this is 1 text per day. There'll be 1 day where there's an extra text, and then every day there's a call to action. So I like to make my conversations as organic as possible, but because my assistant is running my business for the most part, I had to create all these conversations so she could just copy paste. Now, obviously, there's going to be conversations that are going to be outside of these parameters, but this will definitely get you started. And everything is in order of pre-party questions, and then party questions, and then there's very few post-party questions, but there are some in there. So it kind of gives you a general idea. Okay. Then after you have gone through setting up your project broadcast, you're going to reach out to me for the host coaching template. The host coaching template is going to coach your host to have a successful party. So let me give you an example of how that looks. We'll go into what this looks like. Okay. So here is the beginning of what happens in a texting party. So today is Thursday. So I have 9 parties that are starting to work on today. And when it says -7, you can just ignore that, because all that's saying is 7 days before the party is going to start. That number is important for Connection Point, but you're not going to be using Connection Point. You're just going to be using Project Broadcast. So what happens on the very first day, Thursday? They get a video from me encouraging them to invite 75 people. 75 people via text is the encouragement, but I let them know if they can't do it all by text, then they can use Facebook Messenger as a backup. So that's task number 1. I have them complete a survey that basically kind of explains what their interest levels are. Like, what are you looking for? How much free product do you want to get? Have you ever considered joining Pampered Chef? That's a great one because you can get some interest there. Do you know somebody who absolutely loves to have these parties? That gets the booking idea going. There's about 10 different questions that are asked during that time frame. On that same day, today went out was a party timeline. So they know, okay, why are we starting so early in advance? Well, because we break the steps down into little tiny bite-sized pieces. And that way, for friends or hosts that drag their feet, then we have a little time to play with because their party doesn't start until next Thursday. And then I asked them if they want to use my guest list. So I created a Google document and I was shocked. Like, I didn't think anybody was going to use it. Almost every host uses it. I share the document with her, and that way I can see how many people did she invite. So she's only got 25 people on her list that she invited. I can go in and say, hey, Tracy, congratulations. You are getting so close to 75, and just really encouraging her and be her cheerleader to help her get as close to 75 invited as possible. 75 invited equals 30 people in the party almost every single time the host does that. So having that guest list as a shared document, it's super helpful, because when a host is not filled it out and we are 2 days before her party, we probably are going to have some problems. So it's good to kind of know some of these things in advance, and that's one way to do it. So I would say 90% of my hosts will use my guest list, which I have provided for you guys as well. So then on Friday, 6 days before the actual party starts, she's putting a invitation on Facebook, kind of saying, hey, everyone, I'm having a Facebook party. Hope that you can join. Comment below if you want to get in. They comment below, and then I give her a message to send them in Facebook Messenger to invite them to the party. The cool thing about this is all of it is invitation based. So no texts are going out on a random, meaning she's not sending me a list of 75 people and I'm just shoving a message out. She's sending a list, she's sending invitations to 75 people and getting their permission to invite them to the party. So out of the 75, about 30 are saying, 30 are saying yes.
Lorraine?
Yeah.
So is she getting their phone numbers and giving them to you, or is she telling them like text this to this number and they're joining that way?
She is getting, if they say yes, I'm going to show you the invitation in a minute. If they say yes, no worries. She is getting their phone number, putting it on the spreadsheet. But again, it's permission based. So she's saying, hey, do you mind if I add you to my list so we can send you so Lorraine can add you to my party? And that's kind of the way the verbiage goes. But I'll show you that here in a quick minute. And then this is the second time that we've asked her about the business, because I asked her right off the bat. And then I ask her, that it automatically asks her. So all of these messages in here are all automated, already going to be in Project Broadcast for you. You're just going to put her information in, and all these messages are going to eject out. On Saturday, she's going to start building her guest list of people to invite. And there's an image on why she wants to invite 75. And it shows her that those people that invite 75 usually have $1,000 party or more. On Sunday, the actual invitation from me. That's the invitation that she's then going to send to the 75 people on her list. On Monday, I'm going to check in with her just to see how things are going. But if she used my guest list, then I can automatically say, hey, Julia, you're doing a great job. You have 30 people on your list. You're halfway there, yada, yada. I also will send her, Project Broadcast is going to send her her host dashboard, which is how she's going to access her rewards and thank people and communicate and so on. Tuesday, which is 2 days before the party starts, is the day she's going to return her guest list to me. So she sends her guest list back to me, and that's going to be the people that are saying yes. Now, if they're using my guest list, then I can just say, hey, Robin, thanks so much. I see all your guests who are wanting to join the party. I will add them in. And then she just keeps adding names as she gets responses from them. So then one day before the party, she puts another post on Facebook, and it's about FOMO, basically saying, oh my gosh, I'm having this party. Hope you can join us. And she usually collects another 6 to 10 people that are interested from that post. And then Thursday, there is a reminder message that she sends to her friends that say yes. Now, do I think every host sends reminder messages? I don't, but I do know the ones that do, because the results are usually pretty indicative of that. But again, not every host is going to take every piece of your advice. You just hope that they do, because they want to have a successful party. This is actually the third ask that says second, but it's the third. So this is the third business ask at that point, and they're just gentle asks. It's not like, hey, do you want to be a consultant? It's, hey, you're doing so great on your guest list. You obviously have friends that love you. Would you like to learn more about this? That kind of thing. Compliment, ask. Compliment, ask. And then on Thursday, the welcome video goes out to the guest. The welcome video goes out to the host. Okay. So now you've got your party starting, because we're at technically day 0. Then on Friday, so the way one of my directors and I created this was based on a theme. So there's a theme of the day. They get one text message a day with a video. So if you are a new consultant and I am running your parties for you, they're going to get 2 videos on Friday. One that says, hey, this is Lorraine with Pampered Chef. I'm the consultant. I'm the director that's helping Tracy get her business started. You're going to see me throughout the party. However, everything that happens through this party is going to help Tracy. So I don't expect my consultants to be able to create those videos right from the start. And videos are way more effective than static images. And so basically what I've done is just take a lot of my viral videos, put them into like a compilation, and created a 4 to 5 minute video each and every day. And I know that they're watching them because I can see the analytics on YouTube, and because they're taking the call to action. There's no way they could take the call to action if they weren't on the actual, that they weren't actually watching the video. So that's a good indicator. So the very first day is about the air fryer. So I have a video that I put together, and it's fun, it's interactive, and that immediately goes out to the guest and to the host. Then on Saturday, it's all about chilling and grilling. So it's about our products that, what are those things called? Rectangular servers, our grilling tools, grill, pan, and press, things like that. On Sunday, it's sit down Sunday. So that's the multi-cooker where I make a steak in the multi-cooker using the sous vide function. And then I do root beer ribs. And then I ask her, I should have spelled this out. This is called the Host Booking Challenge. So the Host Booking Challenge basically is saying, hey, you know your friends better than I do. If you message 15 friends, I will give you a free gift. And usually when you message 15 friends, you're going to have 2 to 3 people that will host a party. So that is a way for her to be able to get more benefits, but also a way for me to be able to get additional parties. And sometimes they take it and sometimes they don't. On Monday, it's called My Favorite Thing. So I made a compilation video with 15 of my favorite products, and it's like 15 seconds, 15 seconds, 15 seconds, 15 seconds, but it's a 15 different products, and they're all 15 seconds. So it literally flies by within 5 minutes. That seems to be the #1 video watched. People have very short-term ability to hang on. So quick and very efficient and exciting helps out quite a bit. Then my guest survey goes out. And I'm having so many people fill out the guest survey because I learned a little trick. And that is the message says when everybody fills out the guest survey, I will raffle off a $30 product. Now, I've been doing this for 6 months or so, not the texting, but just this idea. And not one party has every single guest filled out the survey. But really what it does is it encourages that one person who's really kind of hemming and hawing about it to just go ahead and fill it out. So I am getting quite a few responses on the guest survey, which I've never gotten before. So that's a good way to kind of do that. And that's all set up for you guys. You don't have to recreate that. This is also a message saying 2 days left to shop. Monday is day 1, Tuesday is day 2, party's over on Tuesday. This is the day I also follow up with the host about the Host Booking Challenge. Now you see I'm kind of editing as we go because guys, this is a rolling document or a working document because it's a lot of content to be able to share, and we've had to develop this whole entire thing by ourselves. So it's been very, very and gratifying and very exciting because the results are coming in. But you're going to see there's going to be some edits and things like that along the way. And when I do edit them, I will definitely let you know. But you'll get the edit version as long as you keep this document. So anyway, on Monday, day 4 is the Host Booking Challenge. That's the follow-up that happens. And again, all of this is automated. On Tuesday, it's called Takeout Fake Out. So it's recipes that I have made from restaurants. I do a Parmesan crusted chicken from Longhorn Steakhouse, and I do that in a video for them. And that one gets a lot of reviews as well. And then I send a guest list to the host that says, here's everybody in your party that ordered, or excuse me, here's everyone in your party that have not ordered. And then I asked her if she would like the happy hour post, which basically offers discounted shipping, and she puts it on her Facebook wall. I do eat that discounted shipping cost, but it usually brings in a couple orders. So you have to kind of weigh that if you want it. You don't have to do that. You can do $2 off, so you're only paying $2, or you can do half price shipping, which ends up costing $3.98. So completely up to you, but it is an option. Then on Wednesday, she sends a message manually to all of her non-ordering guests. I give her the message to send. She also puts a post on her Facebook wall to share with her friends that, hey, this is the party is over, but the link is still open. And it's a $25 image of all the products that are popular with $25, that are $25 or less, excuse me. And then on Thursday, I send her a message about the host buckets, which basically show her how to close her party. And then on Friday is the business ask. So this is something that I keep in a printed document on my desk at work because it's new, right? So I want to make sure I know what's happening each and every day. And we're in the process of setting up a Google Calendar. So you guys will have messages that come out and say, okay, today's Thursday, 7 days before the party. This is what you need to do. It's going to be a shared calendar, but it's just going to take some time for us to develop that. So right now we have this in place. So you'll be good to go for that. So this is like a snapshot, bullet points of what's happening. This is the exact same thing with a little bit more in-depth information. So basically, again, this is pre-party Thursday. This is what's happening, and this is the follow-up action. So if you're like, oh gosh, I don't know what's supposed to happen next, this is what's going to happen next, okay? So remember, if you're brand new, I'm going to be doing this for you and kind of teaching you along the way. For those of you that have been around for a while, you may want to do a couple parties and then just keep asking questions because you're going to have them as you walk through. But again, all of this is automated. This yellow section is where you're going to be triggered to do something. So let me see if I can reference this well. So you see this here that says TP Google Sheet guest list. So that corresponds to this message template. So let me just show you real quick. And it's kind of a little bit all over the place here, but you'll kind of get an idea here in a minute. Okay, so you remember I made the reference TP Google Sheet guest list. So this is a pre-party action that is already in Project Broadcast. So you don't have to recreate any of this. It's in Project Broadcast. If your host says, yes, I want that Google Sheet, then you're going to send them this message and you'll have to let me know so I can help you create a Google Sheet because my Google Sheet is mine and it has all my information on it and I'll have to help you create one, but it's right here. So in other words, you're not going to have to recreate this message. It is here for you in Project Broadcast. So again, if you're not familiar with Project Broadcast at all, this is probably looking quite foreign. But once you learn Project Broadcast here, which this is the step-by-step setup for Project Broadcast, tells you exactly how to set up everything in Project Broadcast, then it comes over to here. So this is Project Broadcast, and all of those messages that I was just telling you about are all right here. So see how it says TP Saturday, TP Thursday, TP no party, TP, that means it's texting party, converting to a Facebook party, texting party because she got 2 bookings, texting party because it's Monday and she said she likes the mix and shop. So I don't want you to have to recreate that message. It's all here right for you. So if I was, I don't have any messages right now to be able to send, but anyway, let's say it's Karen, I'm going to pretend I'm going to send you a message, okay? Let's say Karen says, let's see, we'll kind of make something up here. Let's say Karen says, Karen got 1 booking from her party. And I'm like, oh, great, Karen, I'm gonna send her a message. So you see this little tiny, tiny word bubble? I would just click that little word bubble, and then I would click this, and then I would click this, and that message is right here. It's saying, hey, Karen, great news. Your friend Susie, you write your first name there, just booked a party. Woohoo, you're halfway to the sweet bonus from me and Pampered Chef. We just need 1 more friend to book. Who else can we reach out to? And then I would send this message to Karen and watch what happens. Her name automatically pops up because you're creating these fields. Now, it doesn't pop up here because you have to manually put in that friend's name, but that's how those messages pop up. So anytime I need to send her anything, maybe it's, let's see, let's find another message. Shipping discount. It's shipping discount day. So she said she wants the shipping discount for one of her friends. I would click this and then boom, the message automatically pops up. It's Lauren with Pampered Chef. Thanks for catching up. Let me know when you plan to order and I'll reduce your shipping to the $4. And then I send this message to Karen. And it says, hey there, Karen, like I typed her name in. So all of the messages that are sitting here, just for your reference, are also, all of them are here. Okay, that way you can kind of, because sometimes it's kind of hard to look at things in the actual program versus if you pull them out of the program, it's a little bit easier to look at. Okay, so the last part of this is what we'll go over today. And let's see here. These are all the actions that I already went over with you with the little bullet points. And this is what the party looks like extracted from Connection Point. Okay. So, actually, you know, let me do this because that, well, let me show you this and then I'll show you Connection Point real quick. So basically what this is saying it's day -7, 7 days before the party's about to start. It's Thursday. This message is going to go out at 2:39. This is the name of the message. It's going out to all my hosts. And the response that I'm probably going to have for her is the response here. So this says, welcome to your texting party. Here's the video for her to watch. and there's a keyword in the video that says the number 75. So if she messages me back with the keyword, I give her a free spice. You don't have to do that, but that's just something that I like to do. It's a good tax write-off, and it's a way for them to kind of be incentivized by small actions. There's the survey that goes out to them. They're going to click on the survey. This is what the message looks like. All of these brackets, that's all the information you're going to be putting into Project Broadcast, and Project Broadcast is going to extract it out and act as if it is a fresh message from Lorraine that I physically typed out to them, when in essence, it's all in that automated section. Here is, again, negative day 7, just telling them how the party's going to work out, the flow of the party, basically. This is showing them how to put the post in their party. Here is the message that they put on their Facebook wall, just saying, hey, we're having a Pampered Chef texting party, yada, yada, yada. Here is the information about the texting party. So they kind of have that there. Then when they get responses, it says right here, this is what you do. You send this message to everyone that said yes. You send this message to everyone that said no. But again, this is all automated. So you don't have to, you have to know what's going on, but you don't have to make what's going on happen. Okay. It's important to know the difference there, because all of this is happening behind the scenes. So you got to know what's going on. So when somebody messages you and says, hey, Serena, what do I say when somebody says yes about a Facebook party? Then you can say, okay, wait, today is Friday. Okay, I need to go in here, look at what this message looks like, and now I know what the response would be. Now you'll notice here there's no follow-up action on that day, because really there's no questions that she should have about that particular message, but it is there sitting there just in case. Then
quick question, Lorraine.
Yeah.
Is Connection Point a part of Project Broadcast?
They're
okay.
two separate programs.
You can explain that to me later.
Yeah, Connection Point is it is an amazing system, but it is so vast that it's tricky. So there are national executive directors who are running texting parties without Connection Point, and I've considered abandoning Connection Point as well, because it is so tricky. But it's so great when it works perfectly, and it works flawlessly every single time. It's not Connection Point, it's me. It's a hard system, in my opinion, to understand. Matter of fact, several nationals that I spoke to, they're like, I don't even know how it works. My assistant does it all for me. And I'm like, oh, what a good problem, right? But I don't have that luxury. So I got to figure out those systems. Yeah, but basically, this is what I'm going to encourage you to do. The best way to learn about these texting parties, number 1, is just do them. Number 2, walk through this. It literally took myself and Susan about 6 weeks to develop this. But to learn it, it probably took us about 2 to 3 weeks of doing it, to kind of feeling like, okay, we kind of know where we're going. And we had to kind of build this along the way, where you guys have it built. So now you're just kind of saying, okay, today is Saturday. What's going to be happening in the messages today? You go to this particular day of Saturday, or you go back up to this chart and you can reference what's going to happen today. So like I said, today is Thursday. So all my hosts today got a 75, a video about sending out 75 invitations, the survey, the party line, and the guest list request. So you kind of just have to walk through this. Again, this is one of the reasons why launch parties and new consultants, their parties were going to be run for them at first. So you can kind of see in both aspects of what it's like to be a host, what it's like to be a customer, and then ultimately a consultant. And again, this was overwhelming for me, and I've been doing something like this for 20 years. So I do expect that you'll feel like, my God, what's going on here? But just remember, all of this is happening for you. You're not having to get any of this done. All you're doing, literally, let me just show you, like when you set up a party in Connection Point, just to kind of show you just how quickly and easily this all goes for you. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to set up the person's phone number. So let's just say it's 301-676-7313, which is my daughter's number. And if she is my host, then I would just put her in there. And that sets her up right there as one of my contacts. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought somebody had said something. Okay. So that's step number 1. That is just basically a database at that point. So then I would search for Carly. Whoops, not Karen. Sorry, Carly. All right, there's Carly. And I would then check her. And then I would click these three little dots here. These are called the ellipse buttons. And then I'm going to edit her. And all this is step by step in the document that I gave you or giving you. And then I would put in all of what are called custom fields. And you're going to learn what custom fields are. So Carly is the host. So I'm just putting in her name. And then she has a table link, right? So for those of you that have done parties before, you grab your table link, you put it here. If she was running a Facebook party as well, I'd put it here. The shopping link from Pampered Chef, I'd put it here. Her host dashboard, I'd put it here. And that's all the custom fields. And in this document, it's going to show you right here how to set up all of your custom fields. And that's how you do it. I mean, literally, it is step by step. Now, if you're new, again, I'll be walking through this with you one step by step. If you are more seasoned consultant, the expectation is you're going to walk through this. You're going to attempt to put it all in. Again, it's flawless at this point, but you might get stuck. So that's the time to reach out and say, okay, Lorraine, I'm trying to do a custom field and this is where I'm stuck. And so give me some details and then I'll help you be able to walk through it. A lot of times I might ask you to send me a screenshot because sometimes it's hard to verbalize things or maybe take a quick video of it. But when I had this, or if I had this, I should have said, I'd be good to go. And I know Karen, she's a brand new consultant and she walked through all of this and got herself all set up and ready. So if you follow this system, it's definitely going to work for you. It's just give yourself grace, give yourself a little time, expect there's questions. Don't hesitate to ask them because there's going to be, but just don't come and say, okay, Lorraine, how do you do this without reading it? Because I won't have time to help you in that regard. But I will have time if you say, hey, I read this and this is where I'm stuck and so on and so forth. So I don't want to go too much over our time, but I will stay online here for a quick couple of minutes for questions. You will get all of this once you have gone through the project broadcast part of this, this section here of setting up your project broadcast, which Karen, how long would you say it took to set up this project broadcast section?
It didn't take long at all. I actually did it at like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my goodness, girl. You sound like me. Okay. So maybe less than, would you say more than 30 minutes or less than 30 minutes?
Less than 30 minutes.
Okay, good. That's about what they said, less than 30 minutes. So even though there's a lot of steps, we wanted to take every bit of questions out. So that way every single step was covered. So your very first step for setting up these parties are going to be to go into project broadcast. Now, for those of you that did the launch party, or excuse me, for those of you that did a back up, my apologies. For those of you that just did a texting party 2 weeks ago, and you got bookings from your 2 weeks ago party, I told you, or I should have if I didn't, that I'll be running those parties for you. So you're kind of getting that little gift as a result because you're going to be learning these systems as well. So that's Karen, Tara, Danielle, Serena, and Grace. I think I got everyone on there. So 5 of you, I'm going to be running all the parties that you just got as bookings from your party. So if I do not have their contact information, make sure you text me and say, hey, Lorraine, these are the people that wanted to book from my party. They should be on the spreadsheet that we shared with each other. And we'll get their parties up and going. And that way they're full steam ahead. And then you can be learning the systems while those parties are running. Okay. All right. Any other questions or thoughts that you have? And again, I do not expect you to be like, oh, that was easy. You know, it's a little bit to learn. It is a little bit to learn. But once you do this, you're going to be like wiping your hands clean about 2 weeks from now. And you'll be like, oh my God, she was right. This is really not tough at all. Matter of fact, it's much easier than Facebook because Facebook, there's so much manual manipulation. This, you put it in and you kind of say, okay, I'll just answer any questions that come about. And that's pretty much how it is.
Lorraine, where are you going to be sharing the document?
I will share it directly with you via text or via Facebook Messenger. Actually, probably via text because I'll send you all a message one time. It's going to come out individually as an individual message, but all of you will get the same message at the same time. No, I'm sorry. Let me back up. Once you, I'm sorry, Brina. Thank you for saying that because I actually said that wrong.
That's okay.
Yeah. Once you have gone through this step here, no, I'm sorry. I am right. I'm sorry, 9 o'clock's my bedtime, as you can imagine. I am going to, yes, my apologies. I am going to send this entire document to everyone that is on the call today. Okay. Where you get the next step is you need the host coaching template code and the project or the party coaching code. Once you have those two, and once you've completed these steps here, then you're going to say, okay, Lorraine, I need the party coaching code and I need the host coaching code. Okay. Now, one thing I will ask you, because it has been a very arduous, long process, is I'm asking you, do not share this with other teams. Number one, they would be totally lost anyway, without some content behind it. But it also took a lot of effort out of us. And I personally don't want anyone outside of my team using my videos anyway. My team, I'm cool with it, but not, I don't want it to just be shared on like the director's website or something like that, because that's too much work for that. So just hang on to it, keep it for yourself, and your team is fine as well, but just don't put it on any random sites kind of thing.
Lorraine, I just have one more question.
Sure.
When we do those videos, is that before we have a texting party, or should we have a texting party in place before we do that?
Well, you know what?
Does that make sense?
It does make sense. And that's
Okay.
really up to you, Rena. Here's how, let me just explain this one thing. So I had 3 new consultants get started using my entire texting project broadcast system. And 2 out of the 3 have qualified using my content. So I would say, if you're in a situation where you need parties right now and you don't have time to make the videos, just use my stuff until you have time, and make a video a day or a video a week. Because, you know, it's not just making the video, you have to edit it and things like that. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. If you really need parties, don't waste your time editing and creating videos. Just go ahead and use mine. But you're going to need to kind of change some things because you don't want my name coming out in your stuff kind of thing. But what I'm doing for my new consultants is making that first video that says, hey, this is Lorraine. I'm here to support Tracy's new Pampered Chef business. So you're going to see my face, but everything that happens today is going to help Tracy. So if you need some words, Rena, on how you could kind of swap that for your business, just let me know and I can send some over to you. But I will tell you that there are some consultants that do 15-minute long videos, which I think is nuts, but they're successful. And there's consultants that just do static images and they're successful. But I'm in a TikTok Academy class. And one of the things they say is when you're doing videos on any social media platform, you've got to have something that hooks them in really quick, something that keeps them to stay, and a call to action at the end. So that's the way to kind of keep the flow of your videos going, and no more than 5 minutes. Now, I do have a video that's 7, but I just can't get it any smaller. But I would say the video content part of it is what probably takes the longest, but you only need to create 5 videos. So that's the good thing. You only need to create a welcome video and then 4 other videos. But again, my new consultants are using my stuff and getting bookings, getting recruit leads, getting recruits on their team, and getting good sales. So I don't think it's the end all be all. I don't think people pay attention that much, to be completely honest with you. No, I really don't. I don't. So I don't really think it matters.
Do you have to mess with the wording like we do? You know how Facebook, how we have to change a lot of the wording, and not a lot, but just so Facebook doesn't, the algorithm. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yep. You don't need to do one thing. The only thing that you're going to need to change, and I made sure it was very clear in every message, if it said Lorraine or Lorraine's Facebook,
right.
That's it. And the great thing is you only have to do that one time and never again. So yeah, that's, to me, that's like the beautiful part of it. You don't have to worry about any algorithm. Using the same content makes no difference.
Awesome. Thank you, Lorraine.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah. So again, give yourself some grace. You're going to have a lot of questions. Dig deep into this, read through it. Reading is the worst part of it, in my opinion, but it's so important because you want to know what's happening. Even though things are happening for you, you want to know what's happening. So again, and then just ask a lot of questions because you're going to have them. But I will tell you that the results that I'm getting from this are just very, very enlightening for me and very exciting to think. And I don't know if this is the end all be all, but I do know it's working for me and a lot of other nationals that are having incredible success. And the other thing that the bigger thing is that good of the success rate. And for you that are recruiters and directors, you'll appreciate this. The retention rate and the qualification rate is what I meant to say. The qualification rate is 76%. 76%. Not one consultant on this organization has a qualification rate of 76%. So that shows you that many, many, many consultants are going to be qualifying as a result, because you are basically running their first couple of parties for them. So it allows them to get their feet wet. It allows them to see success, taste success, get the success in their bank account. And then they're learning the systems while you're running their parties and you're, filtering them in through that process. So far, so good. It's been we're on month 3 now. So this is, a good time to kind of be able to share it, because we know that it works and we know it's producing results. So, but look, people are people. People still cancel on me. So it's just part of the way it goes. People say they're going to do something and they don't. But the people that do follow through, even partially follow through, are really having good success. I've not had not one $0 party since doing this, not one. So that to me is enough proof of the pudding for me. So thank you guys again. I know it went a little bit over our time. I will get this recording out. It's going to take some time to download. I have to go to bed, but I'll be back up tomorrow, and I'll be able to check some messages before I go into work about 5 a.m. So if you have some questions, just text it over to me, but I will send this document to you before I go to bed. The recording won't be ready until tomorrow. Okay.
Thanks, Lorraine.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
Sent you a,
Yep.
Thank you,
Thank you so
Lorraine.
much for
Have
all
a
the
good night.
information.
You got it. No problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty. Bye-bye.